You got the touch.
Ladies and gentlemen, Autobots and Decepticons, quintessons of all ages, and everyone else, welcome to Binging Barbie. I'm your host Jay, and with me I have my co-host. Here on Earth we have a saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, John.
I also have a saying. God, I'm suzzled. Just one last snip. You can keep going, by the way. I don't know why you're stopping for me.
Oh, I was wondering if you were doing a 2 shots of vodka bit with your yerba mate.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if you could hear that in the recording, but we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah,
We'll see.
this is a podcast about toy media franchises, 2000s nostalgia, and whatever else we want to talk about. This week we are finishing up our Transformers series. We will be talking about the rankings of the Transformers movies.
Yes. We're going to talk about where they are, how we thought about them, stuff like that. You know, if you didn't watch those episodes, go ahead and watch them if you want, or don't.
Yeah,
It's
we
your
have
time
long
and money.
episodes about each of these, longer than maybe they needed to be, but I like to go on tangents, so that might explain some of
Right.
it.
Maybe, yeah.
But yeah, let's not belabor the point too much and jump right into our list. Just so you know, I have separated this as usual into, we have an overall ranking, and then John and I have given each of these movies scores as we've gone along. And based on the averages of the scores, that's the overall ranking. But then we all each have our own personal rankings list as well. So we will be going through those and seeing where things line up. But yeah, at number 9, we have Transformers Revenge of the Fallen with a score of 2.6 out of 5. John, this is your number 8. This is my number 9.
Yeah, Revenge of the Fallen is a film. This was a film that we had trouble talking about on the podcast. It was just like it was such an I don't even know how to describe it. It is a messy film. There's not really much to really that you really want to talk about that film, but we did the best we could. I think whatever we talked about it.
I think the episode turned out. It was, editing it was a process of being like, okay, yeah, we did actually have a conversation here.
Okay.
But yeah, watching it, there's not a whole lot to enjoy. It's all of the bad things about the Michael Bay Transformers movies without the stuff that kind of is more interesting.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate product of that writer strike of the time, and well, I may like one or two bits, or quote unquote like I can sit through and enjoy somewhat bits in here and there, but it is not the most coherent thing.
Yeah. On our number 8 here, also with a score of 2.6 out of 5, we have Transformers The Last Night. I have this, or you have this at number 9. I have this at number 6.
Yeah. This is one I just despise because it just it's the one that I gave up on. It's the one film that pushed me over the edge to not really like Transformers that much. It is. I have things that I can enjoy in Revenge of the Fallen, even if that is a terrible film. I don't enjoy this film at all. As maybe you had more things to be interested in.
Yeah, for me, this starts out with the promise of Transformers in King Arthur times. And that promise is never delivered on fully, but what this does have is a bunch of insanity that is most of the plot of this movie, with some of the worst editing I've seen in terms of like narrative and storytelling and emotional cohesion. It's weird, but by the time we get to the third act, I gotta admit, it won me over a little bit. Not a whole lot, but much more than I think most people who saw it at the time, and especially much more than John. I was invested in the final act more than I expected to be.
Yeah,
So
sure.
yeah,
I, of course, had the opposite thing where I was just dying. I was just wanting this thing to end.
I think
Um,
your reaction to the last night was my reaction to Revenge of the Fallen, which is I want this to be over. I'm gonna take a nap. I don't
I
care
mean,
about this.
Revenge of the Fallen was one that, like, I'd grown a tolerance over the years for just watching it a lot as a kid.
Yeah,
Whereas Last Night came out when I was wise enough to discern stuff that I don't like. So, yes.
yeah. Oh yeah, number 7 with a score of 3 out of 5. We have the 2007 Michael Bay Transformers.
Yeah, the one that started this unfortunate chain of films of the yeah, of Bayhem. Yes.
Yeah,
Um
you have this a bit higher on yours at number 5. I have it at number 8, so slightly lower.
yeah. I I enjoy this one. It is it's still there's still so many problems, but I like the simplicity, the quote unquote simplicity of the story and how the story branches together. I don't like any of the dialogue or the cringiness of some of the performances, but it is a memorable film that was simple enough for a simple audience to maybe get at the time.
I this is a complicated movie that only feels simple in comparison to what comes later, but it is
True.
interesting in that it feels like a movie that is at war with itself
Yeah,
in
yeah.
terms of what it wants to be. You can feel distinct creative voices fighting for their spot in this movie. You have the Michael Bay military action side of things, and you have a slightly more Spielbergian side. I think this is probably the most involved in these films that Spielberg was this first one, trying to make more of a story of a boy and his car in an ET sense. Um,
Hmm.
it's insane. I like some of the stuff that you don't like in this one, but yeah, I definitely don't have the same fondness for it that you do.
Well, yeah, I did see it in the theaters, and
Yeah,
I do enjoy a lot of the action scenes. So yeah, it's the one that I think that I can rewatch the most,
okay.
maybe
It
outside of another one, but of these Bay films specifically.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, number 6 with a score of 3 out of 5 again. We have Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. We I have this at number 7, you have this at number 7, so we are in step here. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it
It,
is a by the numbers film that is done, but
yeah.
I I again, I would prefer watching stuff that I don't like about Bayhem, so like Revenge of the Fallen or even the Transformers films, which are not the most well put together films, but they at least have something memorable going on. This one doesn't.
Yeah. This is one of those, and I think there's 3 of these types of movies in here which we'll be talking about. That is one of the best Transformers movies by default, in that it is competently written from a story perspective. It has character arcs that work, and yet it is so much less interesting than a lot of the other Transformers movies because it doesn't have any personality.
Yeah, and also by this point, it's like it was like what, the seventh or eighth Transformers film, and by that
Yeah.
point you're kind of tired of like a lot of the same things that they're doing. At least I'm really tired with what they were doing at the time. So
Here we at least go to Peru, which is fun. But yeah.
we go to Peru, which is beautiful, but I don't care about anything else about that film. So
Well, yeah, just slightly higher than this with a score of 3.1 out of 5. We have Transformers Dark of the Moon. You have this a whole lot higher on your list at number 3. On my list, this is at number 5.
yes.
Is this your favorite of the Bay movies?
Mm, no, no, it's not my favorite of the Bay films. It is the one I considered the best Bay film, but I prefer watching other ones. It
Okay.
is. This one has the strongest story and stakes, but I don't love. I don't love watching it as much. I'm not as
Okay.
intrigued by it as much as others, which
I
is
think
interesting.
this is interesting because it's the Roland Emmerich Transformers movie. It's got government conspiracies and big
Sure.
disaster
Yeah.
stuff and big set pieces of buildings falling over. And yeah, I think that is, given Bay's sensibilities and the narrative constraints of what these Transformers movies are and what how chaotic they get. I think that is a good direction to take the series. Yeah, I think this is the first of the Bay movies that I was like, okay, yeah, I actually enjoyed stuff in this
Hmm.
enough to think slightly positively about it, even though I don't
Yeah.
love it by
Yeah.
any
This is
stretch of the
yeah. This one.
imagination.
This one. Check out our episode on it to get our
Yeah,
more
yeah.
detailed analysis about what we thought about it. But in short, I think it is the best one that Bay has made, but I don't enjoy watching it for the reasons I explained throughout the podcast and
Yeah, yeah.
reasons that we kind of realized um, growing up as well. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, on to number 4. We have The Transformers, the movie. With a score of
Yes.
3.3 out of 5. This is number 2 on your list. This is number 4 on my list.
The 80s animated cartoon. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I I mean, okay, so it's a continuation from the 80s cartoon. I watched the 80s cartoon in preparation for this episode, so I was familiar with a lot of it. I think that the first 20 minutes of this one are like amazing. They're fantastic. But then the rest is kind of meh. And so, but those 20 minutes are fantastic and they're great.
Yeah.
Very memeable because that, you know, the death,
Oh,
blood,
yes.
dying everywhere. Play the music.
You got the touch.
Also, just like this one has my favorite visual aesthetic of all the Transformers. I think the G1 designs are my favorite. I love the simplicity of the art style, and just how when they do this for film, everything just looks so pretty. It's so much more detailed than you did in the cartoon, and so it's great. Um, but again, I like the 20 minutes of the film, and then I have a lot of issues with the rest of the film, not just in the story, but like on how the film is made. Again, you can check out our podcast to listen about what those details are. But yes, it is. Up until recently, this was quote unquote the best.
Yeah. This one didn't really work for me. Again, like you were saying, the first 20 minutes are really strong. And then there's moments later that work, but overall, yeah, it kind of loses its way. Yeah. Yeah, this definitely feels like a number 4 for me. Just kind of middle of the list here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, on to number 3, also with a 3.3 out of 5, we have Bumblebee. This is on your list at number 4. This is on my list at number 3.
Yeah, this is similar to Rise of the Beast in a sense where it's a very competently and legible to understand film. Unfortunately, it's not the most memorable. And like the quote that you often use for this is
Oh,
best by
I don't.
default. Best
Oh
by
yeah,
default. Yeah.
the best Transformers movie by default. Yeah, that
Yes.
is. Yeah, again, the Transformers movies, the Michael Bay ones are not well written or structured, and the character arcs don't work. So to make the best Transformer movie, all you need to do is have competent writing and good character, or not even good character arcs that somewhat work. And this one has that.
Yes.
I think we'll talk about this a lot. It's just very formulaic.
It is formulaic. It's also not memorable in terms of like how it approaches actions. Again,
Yeah.
um, it has a similar thing with the animated film where like the first 5 minutes are fantastic and they're the best part of the film, and then the rest of the film is underwhelming compared to it.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing, and I would categorize Rise of the Beasts here as well, and a future one that we'll be talking about soon. But as movies that there are other versions of this type of movie that aren't Transformers movies that are so much better. So here we have like the coming of age adventure type thing.
Mm-hmm.
There are so
Yeah.
many other examples of this. Just watch ET or something. The only thing that makes
Yeah.
this special is that it is a Transformers movie. And the only thing that makes it notable as a Transformers movie is that it is better than the other ones because the other ones are not that good. So, yeah, that's not a ringing endorsement for a movie that is number 3 on our list here.
No, unfortunate. That's just the way Transformers is a film franchise. They're more successful as like an animation cartoon or even like comic series
Yeah.
than they are films, unfortunately. Um,
I okay. This is something that I saw and I wish I had saved it, but a review I was reading for one of these on Letterboxd that says the Transformers are better toys than they are movies.
I read that one too. Yeah,
Yeah. And I
which
very much agree with that sentiment.
I mean, I would, but like, there's not much frame of reference to go with because 5 films are directed by Michael Bay, and like 2 more
Yeah.
are heavily influenced by Michael Bay. Even the newer one has Michael Bay as a producer, so executive producer, whatever. His
Yeah.
name is on it for some reason.
Yeah.
Uh, so we don't have the creative people who actually care enough to make the film. So they haven't seen the toy line be successful as a film yet, unfortunately. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I get the
Yeah.
sentiment. It does make
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. On to number 2 with a score of 3.4 out of 5. I'm glad this is this high up.
Yeah.
Transformers Age of Extinction. You have this at number 6. I have this at number 2.
I'm not entirely sure what element brought it down to a 6, but this is my favorite one, probably my favorite Michael Bay Transformers film, because it's, again, it was so different from the other 3 that we gotten that it was like a fresh take. And then the fifth act with like the Dinobots and Stanley Tucci just made it so entertaining to watch. So
Stanley Tucci is like 90% of the reason that I like this movie.
yeah,
Everything else
honestly,
is just not quite there, but he is so dialed into exactly the kind of performance he needs to be giving. Um, and yeah, I don't know. This one has more narrative cohesion than most of the other Michael Bay Transformers movies, which is not to say that it has a lot of narrative cohesion, but it feels like the story moves from point A to point B in a relatively sensical way. It doesn't feel like it's at war with itself on the creative side. Um, yeah, it just feels like the creative team finally figuring out what they exactly they want to deliver and delivering it
Sure.
well. And then they
Right.
swap out all of the writers for the last night, and that leads to maybe some more awkwardness there.
Yeah. Yeah. But even though this film is too long, it is way too long. It's five
Yeah,
acts
no,
long. But
it
thanks
is.
to
They
things like
kept in,
Stanley Tucci and my favorite group of Autobots,
yeah.
I enjoy it.
In that sense, like this is a movie where they kept all of the deleted scenes in, but I kind of respect it because all of the deleted scenes are Stanley Tucci, and he is so fun in this that even though I fell asleep while watching this, but that I actually went back and like watched the 20 minutes that I was like drifting in and out for, because I was like, oh, I want to see more of Stanley Tucci here. So yeah, this is a very deserved number two, even if it probably isn't as bad or isn't as good as some of the ones that are beneath it. Like it is not on a story level as coherent and concise as Bumblebee, but it just has more personality.
It's more entertaining as well to watch.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And then yeah, number one with a score of 3.5 out of 5. This is your number one. This is my number one, fittingly, because it is Transformers 1.
yes, this isn't recency bias. This is just again the best by default, and
Yeah.
there's not much in terms of competition. Yeah,
Yeah. It's as good as you can expect a Transformers movie to be in this day and age.
yeah, it's animated, so it
Yeah,
looks
the
pretty.
animation is really stunning. The story is, again, if you want a good version of this story, there are so many good versions of this story. You can go and watch Nimona. It's on Netflix. It's fun. It has basically the same plot beats as this, but executed in a way that makes you interested in the characters and feels like the creative team are actually trying to say something. Transformers 1 feels like, okay, it's time to make a Transformers prequel. So let's make a Transformers prequel. There isn't a sense of voice, creative and artistic voice that is trying to say something, so much as it is, let's make a Transformers movie.
Yeah, again, go check out our podcast episode on it for like a more detailed, in-depth
Yeah,
length in
yeah.
it. But it is a plausible. It is the most plausible story that we've gotten, and that's because it is the most copy pasted thing. Because it is the exact same thing you'd see from most animated films of these days. But
Yeah.
it works well enough within the context of Transformers to enjoy and sit through. Plus, I do like the focus of the relationship between Optimus and Megatron in this one, which is
Yes. They
the
they
thing
do
to
a good
see.
job. Yeah. They do a good job with that relationship. Yeah, again, this is kind of the best by default, but it's not bad, which is not more than I can say for a lot of the Transformers movies.
Yeah, yeah. So,
So yeah, that is
uh,
the
yeah, that
rankings.
is our ranking. Yeah. So going through Transformers, I've been engulfed in Transformers for the past few months now.
Yeah.
Watching all the films, watching several cartoons, just to get invested in the world and such. And I don't know if I'm really a Transformers fan. Uh,
Okay.
like I like the idea of it, but I've never seen it be done amazingly. I think I like the 80s version best because of the simplicity of how they set things up, but I don't know. I haven't gotten to that one thing that's like, yes, this is everything that I am shocked and surprised by. This is, yeah. there hasn't been that one thing where a thing happens and I'm like so invested in. It's
Yeah.
engaging enough to watch, but I don't really know if I consider myself a big enough fan to say that I am in love with it. I can watch it, I can enjoy it, I can have a good time with it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to experience it, I guess.
Yeah, we were talking in the Transformers 1 episode about, you know, I guess I said I would like to see a sequel, but at the same time, if they never made another Transformers movie, I would not be disappointed. Like, there is no point in time where I would take a step back and go, "Oh man, I wish they had made another Transformers movie in any of the timelines that they have." Because yeah,
Yeah.
it's just kind of there.
Yeah, they've made enough Transformers content that I could be satisfied with saying, okay, there's this cartoon or that cartoon or that cartoon or this video game or this anime or this toy. Um, but I'd be satisfied if they didn't make another one. Um, but if they did, I want it to be good. Honestly, I just
Yeah.
want it to be good. At the end of the day, be good. That is the theme of my message today. Just be good.
Yeah. Yeah, I am curious to see where this franchise goes. I was thinking a little while ago, this is one of the last examples we have of a franchise that got rebooted prior to this current era where stuff like that is treated with reverence.
Yeah.
So we have these Michael Bay movies that are almost at odds with the rest of the Transformers franchise, while still kind of being leaning into certain aspects of that, which is not something you see anymore. Now they make a new Ghostbusters movie and it's like painfully reverential of the originals. I haven't seen any of the new ones. This is just what I hear.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, it is
Yeah.
it is interesting to think about in that sense, and how they've now sort of switched tracks, and now they're being a little bit more reverential of the idea of Transformers as a franchise. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, we're talking a little bit about this, like, in between recordings, about, like, certain things, like how every Terminator film has to reference certain lines of dialogue and such, and how there's one specific line from the alien realm in this film that's just a definite reference, but doesn't really fit
Yeah,
the situation or character. Um, but yeah, Transformers doesn't have that same sense, I guess. Besides, you have Optimus Prime, and you have Megatron, and you have Bumblebee, and you have the one line, Autobots roll out.
yeah, yeah. It's just such an odd franchise. I'm glad we talked about it, and I'm glad that we are. Well, I am. You are not going to be participating in this series, but we are taking a little bit of a break to talk about the Sonic movies next. But then we will be jumping into the second half of this series, which is, of course, the Twilight movies. Um, Two franchises that I think, Twilight and Transformers, have a lot more in common than people realize. Um, as sort of, especially those like first three Michael Bay Transformers movies, which are coming out the same time as the Twilight movies and have a weird amount of similarities. Um, yeah, it should make for an interesting conversation. So definitely come back and see what we're doing. That'll be early 2025 will be when those episodes are dropping. And you can check out our Sonic series. We will be doing the live action Sonic stuff in leading up to Sonic 3 coming out. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm excited. We have some good stuff coming out. It was fun to talk about Transformers.
It is. It is.
It'll at the least, if they make another one, it will at least be fun to talk about it when that happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
On that note, thank
it
you everyone
was
for
a
listening.
fun time.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun time. What it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Set us off.
Well, yeah, and thank you everyone for listening. Make sure to follow us on social media. We are Binging Barbie Podcast on Instagram and Tumblr, Binging Barbie on Twitter and Serialized, and Binging Barbie, a Barbie movie podcast on Letterboxd. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave a 5-star review and go join our Patreon at patreon.com/Binging Barbie Podcast. We'll be returning next week to talk about the first Sonic movie, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Ooh. Yay.
Yeah. Get to some ugly Sonic discussion. I have a hot take about these Sonic movies that isn't like we'll get to it. I have a take.
All right.
We'll see what you think of it.
All right.
But yeah. See you all then. Bye, Barbie.
Autobots, roll out.
You got the touch.